you are a known loyalist of the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos. And of course, the one who endorsed your impeachment complaint is a cousin of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. And there was a previous effort on your part to have, and also on the part of the Solicitor General, also a known loyalist of Marcos, to actually have Justice Leonen inhibit from the election protests of Bongbong Marcos. I mean, how can you say that his fingerprint is not all over the place?
Well, he has nothing to do with this. Bongbong Marcos has nothing to do with this. Whatever I do is my own decision. I have seen that the pet of the protest of Bongbong Marcos is being delayed by Leonen, purposely or deliberately delayed. Imagine, the case was raffled to him October 2019, and it was only last month that he issued an order to the COMELEC and to the OSG to file a comment. He could have done that September, October, November of last year. And he cannot say that there is a pandemic, because the Supreme Court has been operating even during the time of pandemic. In fact, the case of ABS-CBN was heard by the Supreme Court. So he cannot make that as an excuse.
But this is the usual pace of election protests. You know that for a fact. They're painfully slow, and some of the cases, or in fact many of the cases, usually become moot and academic because they reach the deadline. I mean, they flow into the next round of elections, the next election cycle, so that many candidates don't bother to wait for the decision.
It doesn't mean, Christian, that if the previous protest handled by the Supreme Court went to a snail pace, then it doesn't mean that it should be the precedent, or it should be the model of handling the election protest.
But of course, you need to prove that, and of course, you need to prove that is an impeachable offense, right?
The protest of Noli and Lauren Ligarda, they were wrong during the time of FDR and Miriam Santiago. It doesn't mean that it has to be wrong again in the case of Bongbong Marcos. And why is it, let me correct this misconception. Why is it that being a supporter of Marcos is bad and being a supporter of Aquino is good?
I didn't say that.
Why are we teaching this to the public?
I didn't say that.
Well, generally, the media has been labeling the Marcos loyalists as bad supporters.
No, I'm talking about the fingerprint of Marcos in this case. If that is your opinion, that's fine. I'm talking about the Marcos fingerprint in this case.
But how come that every time I am interviewed, I am always labeled as a Marcos loyalist? Can I be myself as a lawyer? I am a lawyer. I want the Supreme Court to perform well. And Leonen is not competent. He is lazy. He is biased. He is incompetent. He doesn't deserve to be in the Supreme Court. He was just rammed into the Supreme Court by Noynoy Aquino. He is not qualified.
Why is that?
While he may be the dean of the UP College of Law, it doesn't mean that he should be in the Supreme Court. He has no experience in the government except for that being the chairman of the peace talks between MILF and the government of the Republic of the Philippines.
But does that disqualify him from getting appointment? I mean, you're questioning competence. That's fine. You can question.
Yes, he is incompetent. He has no experience in litigation. He has no experience in judiciary, and he has no equivalent experience in the government to be appointed as a Supreme Court Associate Justice, unlike Justice Antonio Carpio, who has served the government for many years.
But why did you know the process of the selection? You know the selection process, sir.
For many years.
Okay, you know the selection process for members of the Supreme Court, for members of the judiciary. Why didn't you go after the JBC? The process at the JBC, if you had questions regarding the competence of this person.
Well,
lawyer na kayo nun, diba?
I know for a fact that
Not
he was just rammed into the JBC by Noynoy Aquino.
But it was a public proceeding. Why didn't you go after that process at that time?
Imagine those coming from the Court of Appeals, Sandigan Bayan, and NLRC, the Court of Tax Appeals, all of these people are more qualified than Leonen. I am more qualified than Leonen in terms of experience in litigation.
Then you should have yourself nominated in the JBC next time, perhaps.